pressure coming, and Perkins gets away, but now the ball's on the ground. Leonard looking in trouble. And that's it. The Falcons are holding. That's the key. There we go. Game on the line. A stumble. And from behind, he's taken down. And for the second straight year, the game ends on a sack.
Welcome back to another Tuesday evening of Coming Off the Edge, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What's going on, fellas? Corey Spala, Nate Povote, and myself, James Crease, in the house tonight, having a good time.
Hello.
What up? What up? What up?
I am suffering from major allergies.
Dude,
You're not the only one.
I just have so I'm sorry if I'm blowing my nose a lot. You could probably hear it too. I'm so stuffed.
Yeah, it's pollen season. They call it May or something like that. I read that somewhere today. Like you're not supposed to mow your lawn.
The grass.
Let's see. Everybody's mowing their lawn today, and the pollen is just everywhere. The wind is whipping.
Yep.
I mean, I sprayed my car off today, probably around noonish, and by 4 o'clock, it was completely yellow again. Like that's not good. It's not healthy for your lungs. It's not healthy for your sinuses.
Nope.
And everybody.
Do you guys have cottonwood trees, Chef?
No, not too much. We have a lot of oak, maple. I have a lot of what's it now? I can't even remember the name, but locust trees.
Like the honey locusts.
Yeah.
We've got a neighbor, man, who's got these two like massive cottonwood trees. And dude, when it gets windy, like in the spring, everything is covered in that stuff. Like it's ridiculous. And it'll make me sneeze like nonstop for like 2 weeks. Thanks, neighbor. Cut your tree down.
Yeah, dude, it's rough, man.
Yeah, this is
hard out here. It's hard out here to breathe, you know?
Honestly, like, you know, you could throw anything at me in life and I'll be fine. But once pollen start pollinating, I'm done.
Once the pollination.
Once these pollinating trees start
environmentation.
Yeah, I'm done, dude. I can't take it. Here we are, though. Happy Tuesday.
We're here.
Guys.
And before we hit play, we were having a good conversation about takes and listening to other people's shows, other people's podcasts. And Nate brought up the fact that he doesn't get around to listening to too much, and he's not mad about it because he doesn't want to have his take influenced on certain players. And I argued the fact that I enjoy listening to other people talk about other players because I myself don't have the time to do all the research on every single tidbit. And if I find a fascinating nugget of information on a player, I'll go double check it. I'll fact check it. And then, you know, kind of like not make it my own, but run with it. Take it and run with it. It's a piece of information. And as long as it's factually correct, I'm with it. And Corey brought up the fact that it was a very wide open space now. Like you could find anything anywhere, and there's not one person's take better than another person's take, right? Corey, is that where we ended it?
I said, like, it's basically just kind of hard to have an original idea or thought these days. Normally, you know, I guess the first person who says it creates a wave. It's like you see it on the Twitter timeline almost every day. There's always a hot topic of the day, and everyone has an opinion. And who knows how many people are within this little industry we got? Thousands of people. So
thousands.
It's, you know, there's always so much to probably say. Yeah, probably. Even,
it bleeds into the NFL and everything else that's entwined with the NFL. Food, we do all sorts of things, websites and everything. It's crazy. And Nate, I love the fact that like we kind of went into this, and you know, FF Chef used to be a retired chef now. I'm a retired chef now. But when I worked in the kitchen, there was nothing wrong with seeing a recipe, taking it, adding something to it, and making it your own.
That's a fair point. And I think Corey made a point earlier too. Like, is there anything even original left in this world? Like, we've kind of done it all, unless someone comes up with a new musical instrument or I mean, like movies. We're recycling. We're on our 4th recycling of Spider-Man since Tobey Maguire.
They brought them all back this time in the
Oh,
last
that's right.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, and to be
Spoiler.
fair, for like music, like there's algorithms to songs. So like all these famous pop songs, you get the same 3 chords. You put a little differentness to it, but it's like the same. Like I don't know how they do it. I forgot. I read an article or something, but the music industry has some sort of algorithm where they find the chord structure that's working, and then they keep pumping that out.
I mean, that makes sense. If it sells, you keep using it. Sure,
it works.
Makes sense.
I think they'd be discovering new like insects and animals all the time too, which is interesting.
I'm watching this crazy thing on I think it's National Geographic on Disney Plus, where the guy is surviving the Amazon. The guy walks like I think it's like 500 miles in the Amazon jungle, in the it's the Amazon biome, and he's walking barefoot the whole time. Scales mountains, gets electrocuted by electric eel, eats all kinds of weird bugs. Like, it's just crazy. I'm like, I don't know if I could do it. Like, I could spend a night in the Amazon if need be, and that would probably be enough. But to let alone in the rain season, walk through all this swamp and flooding, and it's just crazy. All the crazy animals, though.
No.
Look at that fish.
That's a cool looking fish, though. It looks like
really discovered.
That's so. Have you seen like some? Whoa, he looks like a chocolate frog.
Yeah, chocolate frogs.
Yeah, something that's been interesting now with like all the drought around the world and especially around the United States. Have you seen some of the stuff they're finding? Is the ice melts. They found a plane crash at Lake. They found a body in a barrel at Lake Mead. But like they're finding they'd only been there for a couple years, but had the waters not receded, they would have never found that barrel because it was like kind of under a shelf. But they're also like new species of bugs in Antarctica. Like they're finding these things that once lived there because the ice is receding, which isn't good for us.
That's the hairline.
Corey, you've seen my hairline.
It's backwards hat day. Shh.
Oh yeah, we all have backwards hat.
Hey, now.
Right. That's right.
But no, I get what you're saying, and it's crazy that the world we live in and everything around us is evolving, and we are finding new things. And just bring it back full circle, in fantasy, I found that another format has begun to become popular, and that's the double superflex.
Well, you always got to like one up, first it was single quarterback, then it was super flex, then it was tiered PPR.
I don't know if there's an actual name to this, and I brought it up. It's a duper flex.
I mean,
super duper flex.
Super duper flex.
Oh, I like the super duper flex. Yeah, like to the tight end premium, then 2 tight end leagues. Like, and what is there else can you do? Have coaches come in, like.
What is it?
Cap, but
is it Pro Football Focus that's doing the all 22?
Right. What about
I believe so. Yeah.
Is it full 50? You're drafting a full 53-man roster. That's crazy.
Salary caps and stuff like that. I mean,
so there's only so much you could do before it's like you can't even do no more.
Yep.
In this specific thing.
But I find, I mean, there's vampire leagues, there's guillotine leagues, there's best ball has become very, very popular.
Fantasy football. How do we make that a thing? I don't even know what it is. I just like the name.
That sounds like something for Thirsty Thursdays, to be honest.
Oh, I love it.
I don't know what would be one rule, one change on the spot here that I'm putting you guys on. One thing you'd want to change that's not normal, a more abnormal thing to bring to fantasy dynasty leagues?
Fantasy dynasty leagues. All right.
Or fantasy or dynasty.
I'd probably make it standard to give kick return yard points. And if, like, let's say you had Devin Hester back in the day as a wide receiver, but he scored a touchdown on a kick return, you get the points for that touchdown. I think that should be standard across all platform and yards.
Wandell Robinson shares would be happy about
Mhm.
that.
It would change the way you draft.
And I agree. Antonio Brown did it too. And I always use that special teams
I like
marker
that one.
as a progression to see like that receiver is going to stick around. If they were really good on special teams, they are going to have a long career, and speed turns into outside route running. Like that's the kind of thing that you keep an eye on. If someone can play special teams, they're going to make the team and then probably get better.
Well, there are Hall of Famers out there that made teams only because of their special teams acumen. Terrell Davis, the only reason he made the Broncos his rookie season was because he was such an asset on special teams. They had a running back get hurt. He took over. Hall of Fame.
Vince Papale.
I forgot who did like this analysis, but they noted like a lot of these wide receivers that kind of hit in the NFL, they produced in kick returns or punt returns in college.
Yeah.
I forgot who it was, so if anyone knows, please.
Deshaun Jackson was a big one.
I think Hunter Renfrow was like one of them too. I don't know. There was a bunch.
Yeah, Hunter Renfrow for sure.
Tyreek Hill. It was pretty cool. I forgot who it was. I think it's one of these Devi guys, maybe involved in Campus to Canton. I could be wrong, so sorry about that. But it was very interesting to note like a correlation, strong correlation.
Right. What's the thing that I would change?
I like the third round reversal. Like that's something that's coming around. You know,
I'd like to see like the supplemental drafts get a little bit more popular.
Okay, I don't hate that.
For what?
I'm sorry?
Like what? Explain.
So for like free agent pool, right?
Yeah, for a free agent pool.
No, I know.
In the off season. Just go around like that, you know.
Like in the every off season, like let's do current waivers only. Let's do like 4 rounds. You get to keep those guys and then just see what happens.
Right. Instead of having off season fab, because I think off season fab's kind of like a joke.
Would it be like a separate roster spot? And then like, come around.
Yeah, I guess you could do it that way. Like, I mean, you would have to expand your rosters to have enough space.
Well, that's
for
what
that.
I'm saying. What's the point of that? Why not just expand your roster in general then?
I guess.
You know what I mean?
You could also add supplemental draft picks in.
Yeah.
Well, but like
rules for that, like the worst team.
Yeah.
Like you get like the 2-13.
Yeah.
Or 3-13.
Right.
Like, like you don't want to give them the first round 13th pick because that's pretty high, but you don't want it to be too low where it doesn't matter. So I think 2-13 right before the third round starts is a decent start.
I don't hate that.
Like, I don't know. Like if there's just this crazy benchmark that a team didn't hit, Owen, whatever it is, 14-15, like they get a nice supplemental pick. I like that idea.
I think that's a great idea. There's so many things that we can still do with these different formats. And like, I mean, obviously Dynasty wasn't a thing 30 years ago, but now it is.
Probably not. No, yeah.
IDP. I mean, I know Scott Fish, I think his longest
IDP, we
25 years.
IDP, we see like big time IDP, like full defense setups.
Well, because I think ESPN added the ability to do IDP when I think it was like 2000. I'm probably wrong, but I think it was 2018. They finally added the capabilities to do that on ESPN. So it hasn't been around for long. Shout out Sleeper.
Stuff. I actually
Sleeper had it for a while. MFL had it for a long time.
Oh, I believe MFL did. MFL had everything first, pretty much.
Yeah.
Shout out Scott Fish.
I actually just remembered this rule. That I don't know how I came across it, but like the taxi squad rule, where if like it's kind of like the NFL practice squad where you could claim a player, but like let's say I want to claim your player, Nate. Like say you had Michael Carter on there last year, and I'm like, oh, he's doing well. I would like claim him. You would have like 2 or 3 days to move him up to your roster. If not, like I think I claim him, but then lose wherever he was drafted the round after draft pick.
So like a compensatory pick.
I like. Oh wait. Can we?
It's almost like
it's
almost like
if you have players on your taxi slot that you never move up. Do they automatically go into a supplemental draft pool?
That's interesting.
I mean, they're not going to be worth much.
Or like at
But-
the
Hey,
end of the
maybe like
year?
some taxi slot in particular. I have Sam Howell.
No. Oh no.
I have Kadarius Toney. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Some
Why
people
don't
like
you-
All
that.
sitting on my tax because it's
Oh.
a 10-man league, 24 player roster.
Because a lot of people like to put the good players on their taxi roster because there's that rule. If you have a great player on your bench, like you should be starting your best players, the people who like to tank. So to get around that, they'll put like CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase on their taxi because technically it's not their active roster. So they don't have to start them. So that's why if you claim them, then you could either forfeit a draft pick or it gives you like two or 3 days to move that player up to your roster.
Shout out, Brad.
What's up, Brad Bolt?
Down under.
I haven't
Corey,
been paying attention to
Craig
it.
in the chat. He
What
said,
up,
"What's up,
Craig?
Edgies? Good
What's up,
evening,
Corey?
Edgies."
Fantasy football, drafting your squad and simulating games in Madden and calculating the points.
I love it.
I could get that
That's
started.
like, dude, that's like a load the wagon type deal right
I could get that
there.
started. That'd be cool.
I think you should get that
That's
started,
a
man.
lot of work.
Oh.
I like that. You know what? Madden should bring in some sort of fantasy football thing to the NFL game that they have because it's getting kind of repetitive, as everybody likes to say. So
Well,
that would
don't
be
they
cool.
do that Ultimate Team? Isn't that similar to what fantasy is?
Yeah, it's Ultimate Team, but it's a money grab for them. You get to open packs, you get cards, and you put them on your team, and then you play people with that. And then there's like weekend league tournaments every weekend and all these other stuff. So Ultimate Team's pretty cool because you could it's pretty much fantasy football, I guess, if you want, minus the points scoring.
Man, I haven't played Madden since like 2004. So
I've gotten it.
I would be
almost every season. I open it, I play it twice, 3 times, and then like life gets in the way. Like football season starts, and then I have no time.
dude, the last video game console we bought was a Wii. That was 13 years ago.
Wii bowling's awesome.
It
Wii
is
bowling
awesome.
I like the tennis as well.
Super Mario Brothers is pretty badass on it. That was a fun game. Oh, and we did Just Dance. Really good workout.
I also actually just played that a couple days ago at work.
Just Dance?
Yeah, and Wii.
That sounds like a fun work activity. Some
Yeah,
team
man.
building.
We got Wii in the living room for the kids, and I play Wii bowling almost every day.
Do you guys remember the game Dance Dance Revolution?
Yep.
Before it was out for the system, it was out like in the arcades and everything like that. We used to go. I was probably like 18, so we're talking 20 years ago, and there was a place where I lived, Ocean City, New Jersey, dry town, no liquor stores, and they have a boardwalk, lovely arcade, and we used to go there every night and go and do this dance thing, and hundreds of people would circle around and watch.
Some people are really good.
I used to be fairly decent at it.
I wasn't good. A local bar has it. They have Guitar Hero, Dance Dance Revolution. They got the old school. Oh my god, Mutant Ninja Turtle game, like NBA Jam. They have all these games. Nintendo 64.
NBA Jam. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Boom shaka lock.
It's so cool.
We've got a place. We got a bar here. I think it's called the One Up. That is just like it's all pinball machines and like old school. But then they have like Jenga, but with big blocks.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
I
to
miss
play.
arcades. I
Me
think
too,
that
man.
We've been so entwined with new home systems that you don't have to go out, you don't have to be social. Like I miss the old school Star Wars where you had to fight Darth Vader in the booth. Like that was awesome for me.
I got 2 arcade bars around here, dude. So I'm lucky.
I have an
You are
old school
lucky.
Pac-Man video game console in my basement.
Jen wants Galaga so bad.
Yeah, it
But,
comes
like,
with Galaga,
Does it?
Pac-Man. Yeah, my wife got it for me for my for Christmas one year.
That's awesome, man. Hey guys, I got to bounce out. I got a kid who just isn't listening.
That's all right, Nate.
Well,
what you gotta
I
do.
just got to make sure he doesn't run upstairs and fall down them. So,
Well, that's important.
gentlemen, I will see you next week.
Later, Nate.
2 tolls.
Toodles.
That was some good video
does he
game talk,
miss this
man.
Time crisis.
Yo, if you were to compare DDR, all like the best arcade games to fantasy players, who would they be?
Ooh.
Current ones. So DDR, like, I don't know what the top one. What is the oh my god, the zombie? Here, let me pull them up. Hold on. You know what I'm talking about? The
I
zombie.
mean, DDR would probably be like Tyreek Hill, man. Because you hit that excellent level and you have to slam on the, like, you have to move your feet. His feet are fire. He's the cheetah. You have to have fast feet for DDR. Yeah. So I would say DDR. Yeah. Like Tyreek Hill style.
Oh, this is a freaking, I like that one. This is a podcast. What would the comments say? DDR, I like that. Fast feet, quick feet. Pac-Man and pinball. Pinball is pretty cool.
Yeah, I need a pinball machine. Either a pinball machine or like a shuffleboard for the man cave.
Oh yeah, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat, that's awesome. That's like maybe more so of like a fantasy team that has a lot of studs on it because there's just so many different options you could use. I never
Well, I mean, you have Reptile. You have Reptile. So that's Sammy Watkins, right? Because he's Mr. Cold-Blooded or something like that. I know the fantasy footballers say that he's like the Lizard King or something like that.
Okay.
He collects lizards. I think that's what it is.
Okay.
So what else?
Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage. That would be. I want to say maybe like a George Kittle or a Travis Kelce.
Okay.
Handsome, big brute, always rocking the shades. I would have to say more like Travis Kelce, I think.
Okay. Liu Kang.
Liu Kang.
I wish it showed.
He's got that fire. He's got the dragon. He's got the crazy kicks.
Crazy kicks. That's Draymond Green.
Football, Corey. Football.
Who's kicking? Evan McPherson. Scorpion, yellow. I don't know. I wasn't big into that like that, so I was just happy that you knew what you're talking about.
It's like I want to say, so Scorpion, we could be Aaron Rodgers.
Why?
Because he just throws the ball and says, "Get over here."
Oh my god! I'm actually kind of remembering a little.
And then
bit
he shaves his beard and he it's like taking off his mask, you know.
I let go my rage and it saved me. To save yourself, you must do the same. That probably Aaron Rodgers probably would say something like that.
Absolutely. And not give two F's about it.
No. That was good. I'm just going to close this out, though.
Yeah, that was fun.
Okay, moving on. Fantasy Football 22. We've been providing the content a lot about insects, music, games, and now that. So maybe we should move ahead a little bit on
and talk
maybe
about
what people are here for.
Maybe some real football.
Yeah, man.
What's your take on, and I've been getting this back and forth a lot, and I think in the DHH alum chat, we talked about it. Maybe not. Dameon Pierce. All right. Yeah. I took him. I moved up in a draft this past weekend for the 2-6. And I gave away Miles Sanders.
Straight up
for the 206. I am crowded at running back. I currently have Dalvin Cook, Dalvin Cook, Dobbins, Cam Akers, and I had Miles Sanders. And I said, I'm done with Miles Sanders. I drafted him in his rookie season. I think he's probably done after this year. He probably gets moved. And I don't want to wait anymore. And I really like the opportunity and the flashiness that Dameon Pierce could provide in the near future. So I'd rather have Dameon Pierce on my taxi squad than have Miles Sanders clogging a roster spot. That's the way I looked at it. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it is unfortunate Dameon Pierce never really took over in college in terms of like the lead stuff. He's always been a factor. 16 touches are cool. We can't ignore the potential goal line work like you're saying about the Texans, where there's a very limited room. I mean, it depends on what Marlon Mack will be able to do this year. It's a good prove it year for him. Rex Burkhead's cool. Do they still have David Johnson?
I think David Johnson's still there, but I'm not positive about
But
that.
it's like if Damian
I'll bet
Pierce
that.
isn't able to beat out those guys, or at least be a significant-ish part of that rushing offense, then it's like he never probably will amount to much. Let's see. Yeah, you know what? 224. He's probably going to handle the goal line work. That's cool. I don't know. I was kind of high on him. I forgot who I was talking to. Kind of made me sway away from him. I mean, there's probably a reason why he was a 4th-round pick. Zamir White too, I think was. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how much I like to attach myself to draft capital, but like maybe that might matter more for like the first 3 rounds, depending on the position too.
I think it solidifies that they really wanted that player if they were drafted in the first 2 days. Like the first, second, and third round. I understand that, but I also think about it like, and this came up in conversations. Shout out Scott Simpson, that the influx of wide receiver like really pushed running backs down this season. And no, David Johnson's an unrestricted free agent. He is a free agent. He is not signed. So he's off Houston.
That's a cool thing to think about in terms of that, but it's like, dude, if you're good, a team will get you. you know?
Right. Right.
But like, I don't know. I don't think running backs probably don't matter as much in terms of draft capital. We've seen, last year 6th round Elijah Mitchell.
Year before that was James Robinson.
James Robinson undrafted
We had
free
Philip
agent.
Lindsay.
Back two straight 1,000-yard seasons is cool.
Yeah.
So running back, you don't have to really.
Chris Carson, 7th-round pick.
Yeah, good. I'm happy you knew some. I was like, oh my god, I'm trying to think of a thought and I have no idea. Khalil Herbert was 6th round, 7th round.
Yes, Khalil Herbert was 6th round. Yeah. He flashed.
And obviously it took Montgomery to be injured for him to be out there, but like you said, he flashed. He did show a good amount of potential.
Right. I think it's just the fact that like these running backs, if they get the opportunity, they could really, it doesn't matter about the draft capital. If they have the skills and they find themselves in the backfield getting touches, it makes sense. Like I don't care where they're drafted. If their skill level is up there, I mean, you see him there on the screen. He's punching it through on the goal line. He is a pass catching back. Watch this play. Oh, I love that. Look at that.
I mean, is he a pass catching back?
Yes, he is a pass catching
we'll take
back.
19 and 17, I guess.
You got to remember that he split carries in Georgia.
Right. And what?
At Georgia. All right, at Florida, rather. Sorry.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if he can't like take over a room, but also to be fair, Florida kind of has a tendency to use 2 running backs. Travis Homer and then DJ Dallas were at Miami for like 2-3 years and they split carries. But it's kind of like talking about James Cook. Like, a lot of people like to say he shared a room with talented running backs, but it's like, I think it was pretty much like Zamir White and maybe a couple other people. It's not like Swift and Chubb.
Well, I mean, it's always like, Georgia has a bunch of running backs.
But there's always that one that takes it over, though. And Florida, they just don't. But it could be a scheme thing.
I mean, North Carolina did it too with Javonte Williams and Michael Carter.
But they both like way outproduced what Pierce was able to do.
True. Also, better offense.
But exactly. So it goes to show, like, if you are talented, you should get that. That was a sick play. But like, dude, if you're just doing this in the NFL, like, if you get 15 carries, 30 yards, but you get like 2 touchdowns, it's like, cool, dude. That's 12 points just off the touchdowns. So about the trade that you asked, 2.0 Miles Sanders for Damian Pierce, essentially. Yeah.
And it's a rebuild. It's a rebuild.
Yeah, man. Sanders, what is he, year 4 or 5 now? And we're
year 4, I believe.
This is the season. And, to be fair, whether it's injuries, I thought, what's his name? Sirianni would do a way better job last year, but he kind of fumbled as a new head coach. Previously 3 years with the Colts. He was able to have Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines or Marlon Hack and Nyheim Hines work out pretty well. So hopefully Sirianni's going to sophomore bump in the head coach, but you made that move. It's not just a 1-to-1. It freed up that roster space that you're talking about. You got a guy in a taxi, you could bring him up, or maybe if a player ends up, what did you send to, someone may want to give you another second round for him, and you could 2023, you got another second round pick there to add. So like Jeff says, seconds can turn into first round picks because they're just part of the package. So it's always cool. Or if a contending team people love to get their running backs, it's good stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of Jeff, I don't know if we're going to see him tonight. I was just thinking about
it. He said his daughter had a makeup soccer game. So, but most running backs in college and NFL share rooms. Yeah, I like when people say like, oh, he's part of a committee. It's like every running back's a part of a committee besides maybe like the Steelers running back. They feed their number one guy when they have a number one guy. Bell, Connor took it over, and now Najee Harris, but
Jonathan Taylor.
But there's Nyheim Hines who still gets the touches.
Right.
I'm going to find it, but
I would say Derrick Henry is a workhorse.
Yeah, man, Derrick Henry.
They really don't put anybody else in to take time off for him. He gets the carries, all the work, all the time.
I'll keep this flow going.
What's another running back that has encroached, I want to say, on a possible starting gig? I hear a lot coming out of Rachaad White on social media.
Yeah, man.
Leonard Fournette there just signed a 3-year deal.
I think there's an out, whether it's after this year or the next. So those are everyone's like Christian Kirk signed a 4-year deal, but it's like, well, when you look at the language, it's really just a 2-year deal that they could easily, just
front loaded with cash,
suffer a very minimal dead cap hit, and then save a lot of money. So yeah, Fournette signed for 3 years, but they got Rachaad White, who may add a nice little passing down work for them this year. Gio Bernard's there. They can learn from that. But your question about a running back who may step into a large role, is that what you said?
Yeah. I mean, I would think Breece Hall, but he would be sharing with Michael Carter, right?
Yeah. I mean, also if Breece Hall is unable to beat out Michael Carter for significant work, then he's a bust. Hold on, just to go back to these running back 2 touches. Hey, Joey. Oh, hi. Look at that, dude. I went in, and Najee Harris is the only running back here that finished as an RB1 with the running back 2 or even the third running back's touches under 100. But like James Conner, Chase Edmonds was there. He had, and then a little bit of who's the guy? I think he was a 6th rounder.
Who? What are you talking about?
The Cardinals running back, not Edmonds.
Benjamin?
Benjamin was there. You look at Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon was there, 257. That's not all Dillon, but it just goes to show, like, you're sharing the backfield. Joe Mixon at 130 touches to Chris Evans, Samaje Perine, and maybe Puka Williams. But, you shouldn't be too scared if your RB2 is getting touches. Zeke played all 17 games, and yet Tony Pollard still was a pretty big factor, and right. Zeke was still able to
Dalvin Cook
7. Exactly.
Even though he got injured.
Yeah. So it's just interesting. That's why I included the games there. The lowest was 13 for Kamara.
So it's funny that people sit there and scrutinize the receiving running back or the complimentary back title, yet there's no real NFL team that doesn't have a extra man on the field,
I'm not
backup running back.
What do you mean by extra
a pass catching running back, a shared backfield,
Sure.
But we're so fast in fantasy to sit there and scrutinize and say, oh, well, he was part of a committee in college.
Oh, I guess I know what you're trying to say, maybe alluding to Dameon Pierce.
Correct.
I would hope colleges, I didn't play football, so I don't know how the politicky side of things work, but I would hope that your best college player is getting all the touches, maybe because it might mean more for the college, but then the NFL, it's like, maybe we do got to prolong their careers. So that's something to think about. Maybe like looking at
especially with more and more NFL teams going into a running back rotation.
Or has it?
Because it didn't used to be like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, it used to be.
I might have something about
the starting running back on the team was the guy. Once in a while, we'd have a backup on the sideline, almost like a backup quarterback. that would come in and, in case.
I think I might have something about this, but there's no way I'm going to be able to find it on the spot. Oh my God. I think I did look at, oh my gosh, throughout like the last 10 years of total number of passing attempts and rushing attempts, maybe even back to 2000. Oh my God, dude, I'm going to have to find this. I'm not going to be able to find it now, but
No, take a note and
it did.
we'll move
It
on.
did show because it then correlated to the number of. Oh my God, I can't remember this. I feel bad. All right, move on. I'm gonna try to find it right now, but there's no way.
Dare to keep the kids off drugs.
I can't, bro. Yeah, Derek's out there. Running backs. What did you ask there at the end? A committee. Yeah, we'll have a lot of committees these days. Death matters. We saw with the Ravens losing their top 3-ish running backs. I don't know how you want to feel about Justice Hill, but they had to throw out, Devontae Freeman, Le'Veon Bell,
Tyson Williams.
Tyson Williams, and wasn't there one more?
Tyson Williams is no longer with the Ravens.
Who was this? Latavius Murray was the last one. So,
yeah. And then they just acquired Mike Davis.
Oh, they did. I think that's like a nice Gus Edwards insurance body, Mike Davis.
Yeah. Yes, the reports out of that were that J.K. Dobbins was pretty much on time to make it to training camp, but Gus Edwards was not moving as fast as J.K. Dobbins was in rehab.
But that's also probably the difference between like a 23, young guy versus a 28 maybe right now type of guy.
Yeah.
I
mean, it worked out for J.K. Dobbins.
It absolutely worked out for J.K. Dobbins, man. I like him. I like J.K. Dobbins. Do you like J.K. Dobbins?
I loved J.K. Dobbins. He was my running back 2 in that draft class.
Cool. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to be able to find this. Oh my God, I really wish I could. In love with White. Like I haven't heard in quite a while. Yeah, maybe, they're doing their job too. Like the wave right now is to talk about these rookies. So might as well say some good things. But Rachaad White was pretty cool over there at Arizona State.
I think he works into that offense, but I think he works into the future offense because we know Tom Brady already has his pre-contract sports casting job set.
10 years, $350 million.
Yeah, exactly. And
he's done after this year.
I think he's done after this year.
Come on, dude. There's no way that he can leave that. Go be a dad for a little bit more. Yeah.
I would. I mean, I would. Yeah.
It would be cool. Maybe I'll need to look at the analysis, the longitudinal study of the NCAA. But here's Rachaad White. It's the speed and burst mostly for him. The NFL, we were talking about draft capital. If you're fast, the NFL will draft you. Isaiah Pacheco is a pretty strong evidence of that. 7th round pick there, 251 or 261, whatever it was.
Yeah, out of Rutgers.
Yeah, super fast. I think the fastest running back in the class.
he had the fastest 40, I believe.
Tyquan Thornton bumped up to a 2nd round pick. Like the NFL loves you if you have speed, and you just got to work hard there. But that doesn't mean that a big body guy like Dameon Pierce can't put in the work to overcome these thresholds that us nerds like to put on them.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Fair enough.
And Arizona State was respectable. They were ranked, so it's like they had some good competition as well. It's not like they're just playing bums. Like some people, like Adam Shaheen, who the Bears spent a 2nd round pick on out of Division II, things like that. Oh,
Craig says Tom Brady to San Francisco for 1 year after this year. If the rumors on Lance not being ready are true.
Is Brady from that area? Is that his connection?
No, I don't believe Brady's from California. Yeah, I guess North Cali. Yeah,
that's what I was saying. Okay, I mean that would be cool. I don't know, maybe just swap Brady and Lance.
They would have to.
I don't know. They'll figure it out. Maybe a thorough draft pick.
I
don't know. There's been a lot of talk in the Lance camp, not camp, but people saying that Lance just isn't ready, but maybe is it the 49ers leaking some info so they could trade Jimmy G? Because why would they say, Jimmy G's not going to be on the roster? They could save so much money if they just cut him. So, come on.
It's like Jimmy G and Baker Mayfield. Like, what are we going to do? We're all waiting on that Deshaun Watson news right now. You know, the NFL turned around and said, oh, well, we're still reviewing the case. And we don't know. Like, do you really think that Baker Mayfield is going to actually even play? Like, they did him so dirty.
Yeah. Yeah.
And no team
they
wants
did.
his huge contract. What does he make? Like $18 million this year?
Yeah. And to differentiate between Jimmy G, like they would have a lot of dead cap and stuff. Is this his last contract year?
Jimmy G, I believe so.
No. Baker.
Baker, yes, last contract year because they picked up his
So like it's
option.
not like they would lose, like, you know, that money's done this year. You know, the books are fine next year off him. It's not like they'll owe him any money if they cut him, but like you said, maybe it is depending on what will happen with Watson. But it's like if I'm Baker, like outside of getting the money, why would I want to play for you after you did you could have just been like heads up. Oh wow, look at that. You could just been heads up. But I guess it's a business, man. All these athletes come out and say it. Like we as fans, you want to just, you know, LeBron or whatever that likes to take a couple days off, but like people are pissed because, you know, they bought tickets to watch him play. But it's like these players,
they're
I
people.
guess
They're human.
they're people. They don't owe us anything. I mean, it is entertainment.
Wow, that was a nice move.
It is entertainment, but like these bodies, these people got to worry about like non-guaranteed contracts. I think the NFL is the only one that doesn't do that unless you're Deshaun Watson, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous that they gave him that contract in general. But yeah, no guaranteed contracts is tough, man. A lot of people are talking about the running backs too, like how they need to get paid. You know, they work their rookie contract. By the time they're out of the rookie contract, they're kind of being ready.
It's like the NFL found a loophole.
Yeah.
On how to pay running back.
So like I forgot who tweeted out. They said something about like the new CBA agreement. They need to kind of address the issue with the underpaid running backs. And the thread that was done, they had a study done by like Sports Illustrated or something like that, noting the wage difference for running backs.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
And that's why
you want to pay a wide receiver because the wide receiver has a longer, I want to say, I don't want to talk about them like objects, but shelf life.
Yeah,
they really do. I mean, they don't get injured as much. They bounce back better from injury. The injuries aren't usually as severe. And, you know, they're not getting hit on every play. The running back, on the other hand, is either they're running through the line, they're blocking someone coming off, a linebacker coming off the side.
Coming off the edge, bro. Come on.
Coming off the edge. And very good. And or they're running the ball to the outside and then getting hit. So yeah, like they get beat up faster. And maybe that's why like we see the trend of running back getting drafted in the NFL draft slowly trickling to later rounds, bringing it back to what we were talking about when we were saying, are they? Yeah, they are. I believe they are. Jonathan Taylor, second round. Like, and he was labeled as one of the best running backs since Saquon Barkley came out. And Saquon Barkley was a second overall pick. Yeah, the Giants, I think, reached a little bit, but he showed off in that rookie season. So, like, yeah, I think so, with the exception of, like, CEH.
I mean, look at all these. There's always late round picks. Look at 2019 had an insane amount. Yeah. They're always taking shots. It doesn't really.
What was David Montgomery, a third round pick?
Third round. It doesn't really, dude. Look at this 2017 year. There's tons of running backs being drafted. It's just you don't know about them because they don't really make much of an impact besides Jay Ajayi. You know, maybe Jeremy Langford. He had a solid year or two there with the Bears, but they're always taking shots at players late.
Le'Veon Bell. Look at that.
Like there's just
second round.
Burke had 6th round. Theo Riddick was nice, but maybe that was a pass catching role that was slipped off. Maybe he was a little early. But they're always taking so many shots at players. They're just not panning out.
Makes sense.
So that's what I'm saying. There's not really usually you do see a lot of 1st and 2nd round, potentially 3rd round running backs who matter more. You'll get the occasional guy. There's always, you know, these.
I'm saying like in the recent 3 years.
But like we're still
20 like saying
6.
2019
quality
to present
of players
that actually produced for fantasy.
You're talking about the
later drafted later in the in the rounds.
Tony Pollard, 4th round.
Okay.
Damian Harris, 3rd. Montgomery was there too.
AJ Dillon was a 2nd rounder.
Nothing in 2020.
So was J.K. Dobbins.
2021.
So was Jonathan Taylor.
Second, yes, like I said, 1st and 2nd round, you're totally.
So we're talking about like 3rd round, 4th round players.
I mean, have we found a 4th rounder yet? Tony Pollard. Ito Smith, Chase Edmonds. Ito Smith had that like couple games. Naeem Hines was 4th rounder, but we're seeing a little bit more kind of athletic-y, agile-y type running backs here.
Kareem Hunt was a 3rd round pick.
Tariq Cohen, wow. Yeah,
James Conner, 3rd round pick.
Yeah, 3rd round. A lot of 3rd rounds. The 4th round is usually my cutoff, but like you'll get these Jamal Williams, Marlon Mack, some
Aaron Jones, 5th round pick.
Like I said, there's always going to be these anomalies. Why can't Dameon Pierce be that? Jordan Howard,
right?
But
why can't Dameon Pierce be that?
Yep.
Or Rashad White.
5th round.
Yeah.
Or Rashad White. Was Rashad White 4th? Wasn't he 3rd?
Maybe it was 3rd.
Yeah, he was 3rd, man.
That's okay. I think the 3rd round, like a David Montgomery type.
But see, it's a 4th round. Pierce Strong is still here,
But see that, but it has a lot to do with landing spot and opportunity. Now, Pierre Strong, he went to the Patriots. We know how the Patriots recycle through running backs. Damian Harris, last year rookie contract. Will he be there next year? Who knows? We saw Ramondre Stevenson get a fair share.
No, they just took another guy in the 4th.
And they took Kevin Harris in the 4th, in the sixth round. So it's like
pick number 4.
That's what they do. And they took J.J. Taylor last year. We just didn't see him surface.
Like a couple years ago.
So like that's the whole thing. And then somehow James White is still on the roster. Is James White still a Patriot?
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, like you said, but like that also alludes to or the point of these different roles that they will have, especially with where is he at? Isaiah Spiller going to the Chargers. They've been looking for that after the last couple going with Larry Roundtree and then
Josh Kelly.
Thank you, Josh Kelly.
Yeah,
the other guy.
Justin Jackson.
Justin Jackson. They're looking for that. The Jaguars taking Snoop Connor. James Robinson's probably not going to be around right away, and obviously Travis Etienne will be a pass catching back. So Snoop Connor will have a nice little role there for a little bit, maybe depending on James Robinson's.
What really made it interesting to me about the Dameon Pierce was the age that was in front of Dameon Pierce. So everybody was like, oh, he's 23 years old. Sure. He didn't get a heavy workload in college. Yeah, he's 23. Okay. But he is in a situation. The situation is right. New culture there in Houston.
Shout out to Love.
He's got Marlon Mack and Rex Burkhead ahead of him. I mean, I hope Marlon Mack works out because I picked him up for free in a lot of leagues. But we know Rex Burkhead's halfway out the door. I don't see why.
Oh, they got Dare Ugumbawale. Oh,
Dare Ugumbawale.
Royce Freeman. Wow. Oh, it's Dare.
Yeah.
That was the Dare joke.
Oh yeah, Dare to keep the kids off drugs.
Darius Anderson, whatever. Royce Freeman, he had a lot of potential. I think he was a 3rd round pick. But yeah, not really much. Andy Jokic, they got 2 fullbacks. That's interesting.
Almost like they're just gonna pound it.
And who better than Dameon Pierce?
Yeah,
get his picture up there, NFL. Come on.
Yeah, slackers, ESPN.
Yeah. For whoever just maybe came in, running backs, the 4th round is probably the cutoff. 3rd, if you want to have maybe a little more strong, but there'll always be some guys, maybe like, Kyron Williams. The Rams need that pass catching running back. Sure, he had a bad combine, but like we saw him, he produced back-to-back 1,000-yard years, but I guess volume mattered there. But if he could find a nice role, get a couple passes, that's cool.
Yeah.
Keontae Ingram, the Cardinals, interesting. 6th round pick. They got James Conner and then who,
Right. Exactly. So,
and again, running backs get injured. So it's always cool to have some of these guys rostered. Like you have him on your taxi. It's pretty much a free-ish spot, And however you view your taxi, whether maybe that's putting developmental tight ends on it
I
or
guess
these
it was.
running backs.
I guess to go back to the trade with giving up Miles Sanders for the mid-second pick and it turning into Damian Pierce, I think it really had a lot to do with roster construction. More that I think about it. Like I had 4 solid running backs that I'm not going to even dip into Miles Sanders. I know the clock is ticking on the guy. He's only flashed. He had one good season and then flashed a couple games here or there and let me down a bunch more times than he has produced for me. So I was looking at this opportunity to say, all right, let's recycle this because at the end of this season, if Miles Sanders fails to do what we wanted him to do year over year, he's not going to be worth next year's second round pick. People are going to want like a third for him.
Yeah, not in that class.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, it doesn't work for me. Like and that's the decisions that you have to make in Dynasty, whether it's you're going to pull the trigger now before the market gets really shitty on this player, or roll the dice and see if it actually does produce into something. And I'd rather take a shot on a new, fresh set of legs than wait to see over and over again. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again with the same results. Yeah, like waiting on Miles Sanders to actually be a, I don't know, top 20 fantasy running back again.
Guess we'll have to see this year, man. Who knows?
Yeah.
Speaking on the trade that you made, I traded Hunter Long in a 2023 fourth for a 2023 third.
Hunter Long, 2023 fourth for 2020 twin, 23 third.
Yeah,
I don't hate that.
Move up around, and it freed a taxi spot, so I didn't have to drop a roster. So, like, maybe Hunter Long, Gesicki is franchise tagged, so I offered the trade to the team who has Gesicki, and they were like, "Yeah, sure, let's run it." So, he has maybe insurance if they don't sign Gesicki moving forward. Maybe Hunter Long has a solid fantasy relevant career. I don't know. He's a good blocker. Maybe a guy Mike McDaniel will like, but I'm just not sure if Hunter Long is going to be a legit tight end. So I was happy to move up in a strong draft class. That I was the second place overall team. He was the 8th place, but in our league, the middle of the pack kind of teams, it's so fluctuating there that he could be a contender. He had a pretty strong draft class this year, but if I'm able to give up like the last 4 picks in the 4th round, let's just say 408, and that third is like 305, that's 8 + 7, 15 picks that I moved up. I
like that. Whenever you're moving up like that in the draft, especially for future, and the 23 class is the force is strong with them. So I've heard. I don't mind it. Like moving back is awesome if you gain draft capital and you have a specific spot. Like if you're not into a certain player and it's your pick and you want to move back, sure. I love trading. I love it. I'm not really good at it, I guess. Maybe I am. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Hunter Long's cool. Like you said, trade in. If you could move up, something I've been trying to give is like Hunter Henry in a third for the 2023 second. Like they're like, oh, fine, I'll move down around, but then also get a tight end who's going to produce for the next 1 to 2 years pretty easily, especially with the touchdowns. But yeah, Hunter Long he doesn't really 4.76 speed, kind of no burst or anything. He doesn't really excite me.
He's a tight end premium league.
Yeah. And that's not going to matter.
And
much.
No, I think it does, because how many other tight ends do you have on your roster?
Oh, you already know I have Kyle Pitts, Mark Andrews,
exactly.
Hunter Henry, Noah Fant. I drafted Trey McBride.
So you're never going to really use Hunter Long.
No. Yeah.
So holding on to him is a roster clock.
Yeah, exactly. Again, he was on my taxi, but I was able to then
clock.
I was able to put a 2022 rookie on the taxi, so I didn't have to cut a player, which is cool. It's something like Hunter Long's a good blocker. The NFL is not always going to have fantasy relevant people. The Bengals took Drew Sample in the 2nd round because he was the #1 overall blocking PFF graded tight end in that draft class. So these teams may spend a high pick on a guy who is going to have a significant role on their team that just doesn't translate to fantasy. And, we see Sample, a lot of people fell in love with that because he got second round draft capital, but, we need to also then address what is this player good at? And if it's blocking and not catching the ball, no thanks.
It's like Wan'Dale Robinson.
It's like, well, I'm so excited.
Great. He was great on special teams.
He's my favorite second round pick. One of my favorites outside of Trey McBride.
Wow. Huh?
My hot take, Mr. Chef, is that Wan'Dale Robinson will lead the Giants in receiving.
That's hot.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's really hot.
I like him, man. Especially